It's cheap. And when I try to defend, like as expected, let your little brother play with it.
Wow, TFCON. Did you like that footage? What'd you think, guys?
Some interesting footage from the Transformer Con we recently attended.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. It was a very Transformer-centric con, though, I heard.
It was a Actually, you know what I find about this convention that's so impressive? It started as like any one of those other one-day trade shows, and it just morphed into this massive event. Now TFCON is the largest Transformer convention in North America, bringing in thousands of people, and what started as a one-day, like 8-hour convention is now turned into the sprawling 3-day convention where people are coming from the United States. They're coming from all over the place to stay for 3 days. It's held at the Hilton Mississauga Meadowvale, which is a very large, very nice hotel in Mississauga, which is on the outskirts of Toronto. And yeah, I talked to all kinds of great people. Talked to one couple that came from Pittsburgh. Another couple came from Baltimore and now, don't get me wrong, it's not entirely Transformer oriented. As you can see right here, I picked up 2 beautiful vintage sets of collector cards. This is a vintage Moonraker, James Bond Moonraker, circa 1979, cards still in the wax pack, and I also picked up a vintage set of Star Wars cards from 1978, again, still in the pack, Series 5, so there are a lot of other toys, other collectibles, other than Transformers, but generally speaking, this was a Transformer convention and a really, really impressive event. I really enjoyed myself.
Cool.
Okay, so enough of that. I hope you liked the footage. Let's get to the books. As usual, we're going to start the episode with our new book segment. And Jose's got some really spectacular books. You got 2 books you're going to be showing us here?
Yes, one you would have seen before. It's going to be the reveal book. And one we have yet not shown, the first book here. This is Power Girl, Volume 2, Issue number 20.
Cool.
So, generally speaking, as a bargain key hunter, or a self-described bargain key hunter, I have found it increasingly difficult to hunt for books in this very robust back issue market. Gold and silver, bronze, copper, and modern age books continue to break records. The high grade market is nuts. The variant market is nuts. Prices for key appearances are beyond nuts. It's safe to say that the market has gone way past where most of us old-timers thought it could go.
That's for sure.
Yeah, prices for key first appearances seem to move farther out of reach by the hour, and it seems self-evident, at least to this old-timer, that we are very much in a seller's market. Now, I guess at some point in the future, the music will stop and then there will be tears, but until that point, you try like hell not to pay over the rainbow prices for major purchases.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Having said all that, times like these also bring opportunities to the comic book heaps of the past for little gems that have been overlooked or are stagnant. Of course, one area that I've increasingly been active in recently is covers. Now, great covers sell comics, and they also deliver value in the marketplace. Now, hopefully everybody at this point knows that the deal with Power Girl issue number 27, Mike, pull that book. That one, the asking price for 9.8 CGC copies have been doing not double takes. I'm doing triple and quadruple takes at the prices online for this book at 9.8.
Yeah.
There's 2 online right now on eBay, and they're $600 plus each Canadian.
Are you serious?
Now, to give you some context, at the last Toronto Comic Book Show, one of the vendors there is Big B from Barrie. They had 2 copies of CGC L-Star 58. at 9.4 near mint and one at 9.6 near mint plus for the first appearance of Power Girl.
Yeah.
And they're asking $450 and $650 respectively. So when you see this book at least asking for 600 Canadian, wow, yeah.
That is
I mean,
unbelievable.
she does look pretty. But having said all that, enough about this book. Put the previous book back on there, man. I've noticed that this one, issue number 20, it's always good when you can go out with your buddies and you're hitting your local to do that old Jedi mind trick I did with Paul. We were at Mike's local there, yeah, Altered States, and Paul dug this book out before me, and I did the old Jedi mind trick. Paul, you are not a Power Girl collector. Give that book over to Jose.
Yeah, I shouldn't have given this to you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And for a whole $3.25, according to them at a mid price, I'm doing, ba-da-ba-doo.
It's not coming home with you tonight. It's staying here.
What have I noticed? This book is beginning to see a higher on last asking price also. Reasons why? Well, I guess it's a combo of a tough white background and, frankly speaking, a massive boob window. It does the trick. At your local and our online vendors, you'll discover that this issue is usually missing from the back issues of this run. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. If you can grab it, do it while it's still somewhat cheap.
I think you ripped me off.
Online prices for this one are going for $15 US, so I definitely got a Paul discount on that price book. Nice.
You bastard.
Okay, for special guest Mike's first book. Oh, tasty, yes. Groovy, Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., issue number 13. Mike's pulling in the entire run. Unfortunately, not a Steranko book, but very Steranko-esque in its feeling, especially with his great cover. Those two guys fighting atop that tower with the American flag. Mike, nice pickup. Talk.
Cool.
Absolutely. Just going into what you had just said about pricing and things getting to be a seller's market, I had to I had to hit my BMV.
Of course.
Because the pricing is, you know, you're going down a little bit of a grade, but they seem to have so much room on their books. So
we should get a sound effect for a record that's kind of creaking. Okay, we've heard this story before, so it's the old BMV story pickup.
Hey, you keep hitting on something that works until it's broken, just like seller's market versus, you know, crying, right? So, I mean, $9.
$9 Canadian paid. Under a 10, you got
$9 US.
Yeah, you stole that book.
Wow.
Okay, so when we want to take a look at it, yeah, there's a little bit of issue. There's a couple more ticks that would make it, you know, that you would say fine, very fine. But I mean, even if you knock it down to a fine plus, a 6.5,
so
you're still looking at a 2-bagger.
Okay, so you're grading this to be, because of the condition things that you mentioned, general overall wear, still at a fine plus, a mid-grade book. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that. You know, I'm going to be very happy with that.
Well, I said, you know, keep doing what it works. Why question it? BMV seems to be the place for you. Keep hitting it, as they say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
All right, up next, speaking of the dudes doing runs, here we feature another from this title, Miss Marvel. I remember when I did my segment on the number 2. Now we have Paul doing issue number 3.
That's right, Jose. This is number 3. Now, not a key.
Nope.
Definitely not a key. But this was a pickup from the Toronto Comic Book Show, the last Toronto Comic Book Show that we went to. Nice Joe Sinnott cover. And again, another Chris Claremont story, so you can never go wrong there. And yeah, I liked it. And one of the very last pickups of the day from March 1977. Now, truth be told, I paid a little bit more for this book than it's actually worth. This cost me $25, but it is a very high grade. I would say somewhere around a 9 to a 9.2. So anytime you're buying a book this old in this higher grade, it's going to cost you money. So like I said, it cost me $25. But to give you just a bit of a breakdown from comic book realm, in a 9.4, you'd be looking at about $20 US for a book like this. 9.0, 19. You gotta love that one difference. But anyways, in 8, you're looking at about $17, and in a grade of 7.0, the book lists for about $11. So seeing that I paid $25 Canadian, I didn't get much of a deal on this. In fact, I didn't get a deal at all, but I got a very nice high grade copy of Miss Marvel #3, and I want to collect this whole run, and I want them to all be in high grades, so I don't care if I paid for a little bit more money.
Okay, so we got one of Jose's books here, World's Finest, number 169 from September of 1969, I believe.
67.
67, got that mixed up. That's close to when I was born.
Am I getting a deja vu here?
But a little bit of a...
Deja vu moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
Because
definitely.
we've seen this before, haven't we?
No, and this is not an acid flashback, and no, I am not seeing spots because Paul spiked my wine. That was a nice, pretty flabby Chardonnay, though.
It was a pretty shift. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hey, listen.
So let's talk about something we're definitely excited about, not the wine selection of Paul's tonight. Definitely excited about this news. Earlier this year, the DC Extended Universe made a bombshell revelation when it confirmed that Joss Whedon was being brought in to take on a live-action Batgirl movie. This unexpected news has left fans gawking as Warner Brothers has already made announcements with DC Entertainment about a new film focusing on Nightwing. Now, however, it looks like the Bat family can't be contained. So here we are with an issue that is still flying somewhat under the radar. This is the third appearance of Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. Batgirl's first appearance has already seen a huge surge of demand. I'm predicting won't be long before her second or third appearance see one as well, if they haven't already. This issue is also flying under the radar for another reason as well. Yes, this issue also holds the first meeting between Supergirl and Batgirl. Definitely good pickup for me personally from my old favorite Sandy at Retro Rare. Yes, this is a book picked up. $25 discount. He made me buy it. Again, bang!
Yeah, that price
Shooting
is
from the hip. 85 priced, 60 paid, 45 US if you're going to do the conversion. Predicting grade, if I'm grading it, fine, very fine, 7.0. I think easily, not to be too aggressive on it. So from the realm, let's give it the splits now. 9.4, 9.2, 9, 8, 7, and 6 grades are 100, 97, 95, 85, 55, and $30 approximately US rounded up. Nice pickup. I am very happy with this.
That's a fantastic book, Jose. And so, again, just to reiterate, because sometimes Jose can be a bit long-winded, the reason you want to pick this book up is because it is the third appearance of Batgirl and also the first meeting of Batgirl and Supergirl.
Yes. Content-wise, she appears on the cover, and I believe she's got only actually a one-panel cameo. Paul will be shooting this book because we're going to be showing the inside. We're rebagging and boarding it, so we can check it out there.
Yeah, and the inside pages are fantastic too. I was looking at it while you guys were out having a smoke there, and yeah, very impressive book, Jose, and thanks for bringing it in.
The ladies never looked better. Thanks, Kurt Swan. And for Mike's next and last book, I love it when there's synchronicity in the air. I show that World's Finest 169 with them inflating a flat tire and trying to mend out some quarter panel damage on that cover. Here we have Batman 408 with Bat overlooking a young dude. Looks like he's changing out the wheel. Great cover. Again, an example of where a cover can deliver value as far as the look of a book. Great cover pickup, Mike. Where'd you get this bad boy?
I got this again. This was my BMV run.
Mm-hmm.
Now
BMV again.
I was perusing Comic Book Mayhem just the night before.
Great site for info.
You know, what's going on? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And came across this, and it was so cool to see this there.
Mm-hmm.
I recognized it immediately because it was fresh in my mind. So what do they got to say about this? This is a first Mog gun. Now, she has 14 appearances. So what she is she's like the apprentice or the disciplinary of the school for boys who Jason Todd goes to. He busts up the place.
So she's the head mistress, and in a stern, evil Nazi way, it sounds like.
She's actually training these kids to be hoods, right? And he breaks it up. Batman sees the good in that, and
Very
brings him on.
Very Dickensian. Very Oliver Twist. Yeah, I get it.
Him on as that's Jason Todd's first appearance. So
this is Jason Todd's first appearance, really?
First appearance, yeah.
Cool.
So right there, that was something to bring
That's
up.
a big factor there. Wow, I didn't know that. Cool.
He's listed. Jason Todd's listed as an antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Batman sees good in him because of what he has done in the school. Tries to rein him in, but obviously, much later he turns into an antagonist. He's known as an antagonist to the Batman family, and of course in 2012 he gets his own series, Red Hood series, where I have one of the I can't remember which variant covers, which were the pinup girl ones, I believe.
Okay,
the bombshell. Didn't you have a bombshell?
There's bombshells, but there's pinup girl ones too. And
yeah.
this was one of the pinup girls that I think we've shown anyway.
So wow, so this is now this is what I would call it then, you know, let's give it the old label, let's call it a modern classic. This book is 30 years old. This is from 1987.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard to fathom, you know, the book. It's 75-cent cover. Yeah, 30 years old, looking as good as it does. You know, we're getting up there. We are certainly getting up there in age for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, and just to explain getting up in age, I thought it looked really great until I didn't even notice until I got home this smudge, which makes me look like, was it a runoff? Was there water damage? I don't see any damage. Maybe this book had been pressed. I'm not sure. But at first I gave it like a VF minus, which would make it a triple bagger. But
yeah.
Possibly with that, one of those rare things where like, how many are out there that have that? I don't know. An ongoing argument.
Yeah.
The best you can hope for there, if it's a production flaw in the sense of a printing smudge thing from the printer, because if it is water damage or anything other of that nature, then you're going to get slammed. But otherwise, a nice looking cover, great riffing on My World's Finest cover. Nice pickup, Mike.
Fantastic book, Mike. Thanks for bringing it in.
Yes.
Personal deja vu for me. Twice the fun. We picked up both the sets, complete sets, from one of our favorite movies from the 80s, Arnold's Conan the Barbarian.
You are absolutely right, Jose. Me and Jose both picked up a set of vintage lobby cards for Conan the Barbarian. Obviously, it's not Star Wars or Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's a cult classic. A lot of people love this film.
It's my favorite Schwarzenegger movie. I know some people might call that sacrilege to consider the Terminator movie, but for me, personal taste, I love this movie. He was perfect as Conan.
Yeah, he was, and it's like one of his first roles, if not his first role, if I'm not mistaken. And these are vintage lobby cards. It's the entire set. It's complete, and we got them from Sandy at Retro Rare Collectibles, and he gave us a deal that, you know, you can't refuse. He gave me these cards they were $20 a piece. Mike, let's go to the next card here. Sure. So just flipping through them and talk at the same time.
The first one there showcases him as a young boy with his village being burned.
Yeah.
Now here he is, a young man at a fair or a market with his trusted companion. Forgot what the guy's name was, his trusted Asian sidekick there.
I don't remember his name either, but...
cool, he was comic relief too. He was very cool.
There
was chemistry among the three leads. The lead female love interest, Valeria, played by Sandra Bergman, I think it was. Anyway, it was just, everything worked. They had the good enough script, fantastic score to the movie, a great bad guy, James Earl Jones, and here he have him. This is actually a very nice screenshot from the movie. This is about him preparing himself mentally and physically for the final showdown with
Tulsa Doom. Oh yeah. Let's go to the next one, Mike.
Great epic battle to end the movie. Fantastic.
And just in case some of you guys don't know, please tell me you didn't ruin my lobby card.
No, I didn't.
He just dropped on the floor. Please tell me you didn't damage it. Anyways, I digress. What I was saying is, if people who don't know what a lobby card is, a lot of time when you went into the movie theaters, obviously you had the big posters outside and in the lobby, but when you first walked in the theater, a lot of times you see the smaller lobby cards, like panels, one on top of each other, showing various scenes from the film, and these were very popular in the 70s, 80s. I don't know if they still use them.
Not so much now in the digital age. There seems to be, from a marketing standpoint, less of a need for the lobby card per se. I think it's a dying art, if not a dead art already.
Yeah.
I mean, with the exposure of the internet and different sorts of media, the lobby card is become increasingly obsolete in this modern day and age.
But didn't they also have them for?
Let's go to the next one, Mike.
You were going to get into.
Well, no, I think a lot of this had to do with most theaters in the 50s, 60s, 70s were much smaller, so you didn't want to have these giant posters all over the place. You needed the smaller lobby cards.
Yeah, that's their partying after their first big score, where they scored the Eye of the Serpent from Thulsa Doom's Tower there.
That's right.
Yeah, about the philosophy of success testing your mettle, as far as, you know, too much success if you're not ready to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
Indulging yourself and landing yourself in hot water.
Yeah,
Great shot there. The three main bad guys. Thulsa Doom was his main two henchmen there.
That's right.
Nice shot from the beginning of the movie when they raid Conan's village.
And the nice thing about these is Sandy gave us a great deal on these.
I got an even better deal, but there's a side story too that I basically paid out like, wow. I mean, he made up for something, and it's cool that, you know, I got the price I did on it. But what you paid for them,
$20 a piece,
you
and
paid that for new reproduction.
For reproductions, you're going to pay
that.
15 to 20 bucks a piece. These are all original lobby cards, mint. They were never hung, so there's no pins, there's no tape.
And that's amazing for these things.
Next one,
They've
Mike.
never been posted up. There's no tape marks, no pinhole marks on them. They look almost pristine. This is great condition. When you can find them in this collectible condition, extra bonus for you. And they're here from the near the end of the movie there, his cult-like temple there, the followers of Doom.
Yeah. Is that the last one, Mike, or is there one more?
There's one more.
Let's see the last one.
And for the finale of the set, so how many is it? 8? What's the
I think it was 8 in total.
There is a nice close-in shot. The trio there, Thief, Warrior, Gladiator, King. I mean, you could say that about all three of them in a certain way, but nice. This is my favorite of all the ones there.
Yeah.
That's a nice close in, kind of like head and shoulder shot.
One of my favorites too.
Main protagonists. If I was to get one frame, this last one would be the one to get framed.
Yeah. And what I'm hoping to pick up in the next couple of weeks from Sandy is the lobby cards from the second movie, which I believe is called Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, yeah, they were nice too.
And there's some very nice, obviously not as popular as the first film.
No, not nearly as good a film either, but that's another story.
Yeah, but Sandy's also given me even a better deal on them. So, you know, it's a deal I really can't refuse. So I'm going to pick them up as well. And I really think, again, just my opinion, that this is the collectible pieces of the future. I mean, obviously, most of us can't have a Luke Skywalker original lightsaber or a $2.6 million R2-D2, but you can pick up movie posters and lobby cards, and this is going to be very collectible. And the time is coming.
Collectible.
It already is, but it's getting more and more collectible every day.
It's growing in the sense that, I mean, you had the few marquee movies, the big ones, Star Trek and Star Wars, obviously, stuff like that. Cultish stuff, horror, sci-fi, but when you're getting to modern stuff, this is a collectible of now and of the future.
Yeah,
and you can always get these signed still, I would think.
Yes,
right?
they have multi-purpose. It makes great wall art. Have a signed piece nicely framed in your apartment or house. Could not go better in a man cave.
For sure. Okay, so Jose's bringing it home tonight, and he's bringing it home in an absolutely major way, because this is an epic book, an absolutely epic book with an epically low print run, and the fact that you have this book is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing.
Okay, so for people not knowing, the book we're discussing here is the first type of book that we've actually ever featured in one of our episodes. This is a fanzine, an Italian fanzine from 1993, Dime Press, issue number 4. So, while many fans were hoping and calling for a third installment of Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy, the director quickly squashed any hope of that happening when he tweeted in February of this year, Hellboy 3, sorry to report, spoke with all parties, must report that 100% the sequel will not happen, and that is to be the final thing about it. So, after first reading that, I admit I was a little dismayed, so I just thought if it wasn't happening, it wasn't happening. Actually, a reboot never even crossed my mind. The character apparently isn't just getting a reboot, but supposedly a major reboot. It seems that Millennium is in negotiation with producers Larry Gordon and Lloyd Levin to relaunch the property into the R-rated realm of films.
Really?
Yeah, director Neil Marshall has been reportedly attached to Hellboy's movie Reset. According to one of the writers named Andrew Crosby, the script is finished and so far called Hellboy: Rise of the Blood Queen. He has said it will be, quote, darker and more gruesome than the film's predecessors. Creator Mike Mignola is apparently on board with this reboot and change of direction. Now, I must admit that Hellboy does have the potential to go that route seamlessly. I mean, we are talking about a demon here that works for the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense and vanquishes all sorts of things that go bump in the night. So horror, or simply going for a hard R, is plausible for sure. Now, whether it's needed or not is a different story in my opinion. I would have loved to have seen a third Hellboy movie with Ron Perlman directed by Guillermo del Toro. I was hoping they would do another, but I guess it didn't make enough money, or somebody wasn't happy with what was being done in the original franchise.
Yeah.
So, Hellboy has a few debuts that comic book fans and collectors seemingly attribute to the character or are on the hunt for. Now, I think, personally, the most well-known and valuable so far is this issue right here, Dime Press number 4. Now, this is basically a cover appearance only of Hellboy, and some may argue that the character on this cover is still a prototype dupe. Of course, Dime Press was an Italian fanzine, in case you didn't know. Now, Hellboy's actual first appearance in an actual comic book story has been claimed by creator Mike Mignola himself as being in San Diego Comic-Con Comics issue number 2. It was a short story, but this is definitely no prototype or Hellboy that is in that book. It is the famed comic book character all ready to go and take comic fans by storm during the 90s. San Diego Comic-Con's issue number 2 has an even lower estimated print run than Dime Press number 4. Recalled Comics estimates it to be around 1,500 with a question mark. Dime Press issue 4 is estimated around 2,000, and Recalled Comics also has a question mark behind that number. Next, there is X-Men 21. It is now being noted as the first color appearance of Hellboy. On that note, both X-Men 21 and San Diego Comic-Con's issue number 2 are still undervalued compared in price to Dime Press number 4. With this reset and more gruesome approach, it begs a question as to how far or close to the actual source material are they going to go after. Are they going to put the complete reset button? Guillermo's Hellboy flicks definitely had great chemistry among its cast, and also a certain comedic charm and wit that was taken from the comic books themselves.
Yeah.
He's definitely a smart-ass type of comic book character like Deadpool, and that was nicely captured in the first 2 films. Now, will there be an Abe Sapien, a Liz Sherman? How will their characters be affected by this darker rendition? Like Ron Perlman, I thought Selma Blair was great, though different in the role of Liz Sherman, and had great chemistry with Perlman. Also, Doug Jones was with the voice of David Hyde Pierce, who refused credit out of respect for Jones' performance, were amazing as Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
Now, both Liz and Abe Sapien first debuted in Hellboy: Seed of Destruction issue number 2 from Dark Horse Comics. Seed of Destruction was Hellboy's first comic book series. Actually, it was a limited series, but it was still his debut comic book series. Seed of Destruction was actually written by John Byrne and Mike Mignola, and it's the first film drew heavily from that 4-issue limited series. Now, I'm glad that Hellboy isn't a dead movie property, but I must admit that I am disappointed I won't be seeing a third Hellboy that could have completed one of the better comic book trilogies to date. Stranger Things star David Harbour has been reported to star as the new Hellboy. I do have to admit that it's really hard for me to picture anyone else other than Ron Perlman as Hellboy. I wish the guy luck, but I did really like the first season of the Stranger Things series on Netflix. Now, this was picked up from my local Retro Rare. It was a consignment book. He gave it to me for $200 Canadian, which is about $150 US. Now, the few copies that you might see pop up every once in a while, currently I think there might be a couple or 3 on the eBay right now. They're going, or they're asking anywhere around $400 to $450 US, and those are usually for either raw or slabbed. And then when the slab books, I've seen them 9.4 near mint grades. Now, there is one thing to say about this book, and he did declare that it seems like the seller, the consigner here, reported that there is color touch, apparently very slight on the cover, and you can see it with a black cover. I think it just tempted some idiot to basically go in there and fix a little tiny little probably white dot or little crease somewhere, and then basically removed it from being a book that I would ever consider as getting slabbed. Okay, so I can't, I'm not going to go through the expense and time to get something that's going to come back with a proper restored label. So
you don't know for certain it would come back with the restored label, but there's a reasonably good chance.
If he said there's color touch, there would. I mean, even a small, tiny one dot kind of thing from a fine line or anything like that would come up with a black light. So if it's restored, even if there's a strong probability of it is, it rules it out from me spending the money to get this slabbed. But I am glad to have this book. I mean, it's only a cover-only book, so
super rare.
Super rare, low print run.
But to reiterate, this is the first time that Hellboy has ever been published on any printed material whatsoever.
Cover only, but yes, it has that, and some people would argue prototype.
Prototype,
Prototype being he's not ready.
Well, he doesn't look like Ron Perlman's rendition, that's for sure. Jose, that is a spectacular book, and I'm actually in awe to be in its presence. It is really spectacular. I really love it.
And it's a type of collectible that we haven't featured before. Fanzines.
Never, ever, And I can't think of any better way to end the show.
Oh, hoy, hoy.
So anyways, guys, if you like the show, if you like what you saw, leave the comments.
We've been getting some good comments lately.
We have, and we love reading them. And I guess we'll see you next time.
Yes, we got coming up in August to end the summer season, both another Toronto comic book episode of this show there, pop-up, and of course the granddaddy of them all at the end of August, Fan Expo. See you there, guys.
Special guest Mike, yes.
You always want something, eh?
We already have one of those. She's definitely. She was like that since.
I have some over here, actually.
Third month, and she was always
It'll be a while.